Yeah, you the been, and she love me when I'm in it, and she never be pretending. Nothing is real. She gon' tell you what she bought it, cause she know you can't afford it. Know you can get it, looking exquisite, no competition.
Hi, everyone. We have another amazing guest tonight. I'm going to go ahead and bring her in because she's just the coolest, and I can't wait for you guys to meet her. She's amazing. She's a dancer, she's a pageant winner. It's Alexandra Badgett.
Hi!
I need to get a sound
I
effect
love
machine.
it. Right, the
only,
sound effects from at home, trying to get it together. Yes.
only like sound effect thing I have is this pen a friend gave me, and that's all it does. It just says,
Okay.
yeah. She was like, "You need to stand up for yourself more and say no." All right, if you say
Well, there
so.
you go.
Well, anyway, back to Miss Alexandria. So tell us, you're Miss North Carolina,
Yes.
2019. You just won, I think it was like January? No, I'm trying to
So,
remember when I
I was gonna
watched.
say,
No. Was
time
it?
flies. So, Miss
Yeah.
North Carolina was last June. So,
Oh,
I know,
I knew it
literally,
was a
time
J month.
flies. So,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
June of
Oh,
last
that's
year.
right. When
And
I met
then,
you, it was like the following week because you did the
yeah,
Crabtree event with all the
yes,
local, well, for most of the, I'll explain to everybody. So last year in June, ABC 11, as well as the Miss America or Miss North Carolina pageant, they had all the different local, well, I guess they're all local, duh, it's Miss North Carolina, all the different North Carolina title holders from all over the county. I didn't even know it was such a big amount of girls. I would say there was way more than 50. It looked like a lot, but I got to meet you there and you were so sweet and kind to my
oh,
daughter. And
thank you.
I don't know if you remember, but she's kind of on the shy side unless she's on the camera. And I was like, "Ooh, can you like ask her questions?"
No, I remember.
Okay, I was like, "Put her on the spot some, see what she'll say."
No, I do. And I appreciated that because at events like that, it's so often you'll see different kids and
Mm,
they'll come, and sometimes their parents will let them have the spotlight, they let them have the moment.
right.
Other times, some parents will just speak for them because they're a little bit intimidated by the shiny hat and
Yeah.
sash. And I remember you specifically coming up, and you were that parent that was like, okay, you've got your voice, use it, ask me what you want. Let's talk and have a conversation. So, no, I appreciated that and definitely remembered.
Oh, great. Okay, because you there were so many beautiful girls, but it was something about you that just stood out. You just have that it factor. What
Oh, well,
made you
thank you.
decide to get into pageants? Like, especially, I mean, I want to get to the part about how you were able to raise $20,000 in scholarships. I can see that being a reason well and within itself. But
Absolutely.
so
So
what was
that
it
is
for you?
honestly one of the main reasons I started in the organization. For those of you watching that don't know, the Miss America organization is the number one leading provider for scholarships for women across the nation, which is beautiful. Being able to be a part of an organization that really pushes you to be involved in your community, allows you to grow in skills that have to do with socializing, interacting with people, networking, interviewing, and still being able to get scholarship money. So I started competing in 2011 as a teen, kind of really off the cuff. A family friend of ours was like, hey, my friend is the executive director for a local pageant. Would you be interested? My mom was like, well, what does she have to do? After my mom kind of heard the details, she then asked me and was like, would you be interested? And I was like, well, what do I have to do? And as she kind of talked me through the phases of competition, the talent portion, it had me from the very beginning. I've been dancing since I was 2.5. So, what another beautiful way to showcase my passion. And then we're a very service based and service oriented family. So, being able to find a way to create that impact and create that change was another beautiful part that I hadn't thought of. And I always say I started because of the scholarships.
Mhm.
I stayed because of the service. So I came back to compete for the title as a Miss because I knew I needed a bigger platform to promote my nonprofit organization.
Oh, so that so Nine is your own profit. I mean
Yes,
nonprofit
ma'am.
organization. Oh, I didn't I meant to do more research on it, but there was so much
Woo!
to research about you that I forgot to look at. I just knew what it stood for, but that was pretty much it. I
Yes.
was like, I'll let her explain it because it sounds amazing that
Oh,
you're
thank
at
you.
such a young age that you're involved in something that's really, I mean, it affects so many women from so many different ages, races, wealth. Like it doesn't matter. It happens to everyone. One out of three women,
Exactly.
I think, is the latest, or it might be more than that. I don't.
As I say, no, 1 out of 3 women and 1 out of 4 men in their lifetime.
Yeah.
So scary
Well,
numbers for sure.
Well, I guess since we're kind of already talking about, do you want to speak a little bit more about your? Yeah, because I'm like, wait, let's
Yeah,
just go and
as I
talk
say,
about
I
it.
can.
Yeah, because we're
So
like
my
1 out of 3. What?
nonprofit, yeah, we might as well. Exactly.
Yeah.
So my nonprofit, N.I.N.E, no is not enough. Like you said, it aims to deepen that anti-rape anthem, no means no. I started working with the sexual trauma services of the Midlands during my undergraduate years at the University of South Carolina. And I just found that a lot of the training and the resources I was learning when I was training to be a hospital and hotline advocate, I wish I knew as a student and as a citizen of the community. And I wanted to take that knowledge and bring it back. And so I created my nonprofit, No Is Not Enough, where I'm really zoning in on college campuses and stressing the importance of increasing reporting numbers and lowering sexual assault statistics. So my foundation kind of started in
Big,
undergrad, and the
yeah.
program's definitely grown, but the main focus is ensuring that there are resources available for not only our college students, but individuals across the state, across the nation. So survivors and victims have those resources that they do need.
Right. Now, what made you get involved in something so serious? Because, I mean, you can
Yeah.
pretty much choose anything when it's your own nonprofit, as
Mhm.
opposed to it being something that just spoke to you already that was already existing. What made you choose to start your own?
I would say there are a few different things. The first, I've always just been the person that wants to be a voice for those that I felt went unheard. When I was a teen in the organization, I promoted teenagers avoiding pregnancy. So I
Mm.
went out into the community working with at-risk teens and teaching dance to promote, high self-esteem and building
Ah.
self-confidence, so that young girls could make the decisions that they wanted out of respect for their bodies and never feel pressured to have to say yes. And
Mm.
so at a young age, I had already started tippy-toeing into the door of controversial topics and controversial platforms. When I came back as a Miss, I wanted to find a way to still address issues that I felt like people weren't talking about. And the simple fact that I started volunteering at the Sexual Trauma Services of the Midlands, all of 10 minutes away from my campus, and had never heard of the organization before, that was an issue. I didn't know who my Title IX coordinator was on campus. That was an issue. There were experiences, whether it was myself, whether it was line sisters, whether it was friends, that they had had encounters in their undergraduate years. And I just wanted to create a better foundation for generations to come. I've got
Mm.
4 older brothers. That leaves me with 3 nieces and a nephew. And I don't want them growing up having to go to college and fearful for the environment that they'll be in. So a few different reasons, but those are the top.
No, I mean, I'm very grateful that you're involved in something like that because, I mean, I feel like the statistics a lot since so many people don't report it or they're, I'm trying to think of the right word. I don't want to say survivor. The the guy that actually or the person, because it happens to men as well,
Hmm. The
whoever the
assailant. Hmm.
aggressor is, that's it.
Yeah,
A lot of times they're not punished or they're not,
exactly.
there's no repercussions for it. So it's very easy to just become, oh, that's just boys being boys, or just, well, don't drink, don't hang out with a certain type of group, and it's more to that. And I love that you're talking about the different things that women can do to be protective of themselves, but I also think it puts a lot of pressure also on men to stand up for women as well, in that sense, that
Absolutely.
because they're the ones that are doing the raping for the most part. I mean, some women are as well, obviously, but even with some of those men, it's other men that are raping them. So I think it's very important that this is something that's addressed, because even with the Me Too movement, I feel like it's a lot after the fact in that sense, where this is more so like teaching women their voice and strength to kind of be preventive in that way as well. So I
Absolutely.
really
I
just
think
love that you're doing
anytime
that.
you're allowed to, talk with survivors and victims and allow them to know that there's a village and there's a support system there for you, whether
Mhm.
that is a female survivor, a male survivor, a child, just so they know they're not alone. That's the biggest
And that they're
message.
believed too. I
Yeah,
think that was something
exactly. And
I watched one of your lives and you were talking about it a little bit, and that's like that could be the most important part, is just knowing somebody believes them and will listen to their
yeah,
story. Which a
exactly.
friend of mine who's watching, he wanted me to tell you about an organization, and I think it was
Okay.
called like Our Story or something. So
Okay.
will you write it in the comments, Eugene? Because he told me that it was like 1 o'clock in the morning last night, and it just dawned on
I'm
me
like,
when he
no,
wrote his
yes,
comment.
please share.
I'm like, "Please," because it was a lot. It was like, because I looked at the website and it was very interesting that it was a place that victims could go and share their story and be believed. And I thought
Okay.
that was like, oh, that's another great
And be
outlet that
heard,
women
and
can
that's
have.
so important. Yeah.
And have that support system. And I just love it. Well, let's go on to
Yeah.
something a little bit lighter because this is
A
kind of
little
Beauty
bit
Week and
softer, a
pageant.
little
Just
bit
we can
lighter.
go
It's
back to it,
important, an
but
important issue for sure,
it
but
is, and
I
I
get
do think it's
it.
something that everyone should listen and learn about. But I want to talk about some of the other things you're doing, and I think that your social impact initiative with that you mentioned just now, the 9, is so important. But I also love that you're doing, and I don't know if you want to. Well, yeah, you're going to talk about it because I've been watching some of your lives and that you're doing these different themes. Can you speak a little bit more about that so other people who might want to watch will also be able to keep up with you and know what day to do what? Because it looks so
Yeah.
cool, the different themes and so on. I'm like, oh, maybe I need to do a
Absolutely.
different theme
So,
every day.
yeah. So last week I put on a sexual assault awareness week. So for those of you that do not know, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Right,
And even though we are social distancing, I kind of call it physical distancing now, we're
right.
still able to be social. But since we are physically distancing, there weren't a lot of events that I was able to go out to and promote
All right.
my message. And so finding a way to do that virtually was the biggest task. And so Sexual Assault Awareness Week was the route that I decided to take. So Monday, we had Motivation Monday. We had Till Tuesday, with Till being the
The
sexual assault
color, yeah.
awareness prevention color. And so we had different things throughout the week. A Thursday filled with advocates and survivors sharing their stories. And today is actually Denim Day. And so, for those of
Oh,
you that do not know, it's the 10th anniversary of Denim Day. And so that's why I've got my denim jacket
yeah, I
on.
didn't
I've
know
got my
about
denim
Denim
pants, as
Day.
you can see.
Well, tell
But
me
it's
about
Denim
Denim
Day.
Day.
Yeah, so Denim Day started after there was a Supreme Court ruling that stated the survivor's story or survivor wasn't telling the truth because there was no way the assailant would have been able to take her jeans off of her because of how tight they were without her consent.
Oh my
And so that
goodness.
was the grounds or the basis for the conviction, was simply that, well, he wouldn't have been able to take those tight jeans off of her on his own. And after that
Gosh.
situation in 2008, they finally ruled and kind of took that back, saying that that was no longer a valid reasoning or valid excuse when it came to justification or justifying somebody's story. And in 2011 was the first time that everybody came together in support of survivors to say, we do believe you, we believe your stories, you are heard. And so from then on out, once a year, we rock our denim and we have our denim day in support of survivors. So,
That's so neat. Yeah, 2008 is when I had my daughter, so I think I was just completely out of the loop because I was it was a rough year for pregnant women that year. There was a lot, like Nancy Grace was still on. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she would do
okay.
all these different stories about women being murdered, basically while they were pregnant. And there was like 3 or 4 that year, and I was like,
Oh,
ah.
goodness.
So
Oh,
I was
yeah.
put on a news freeze after that because I would keep joking with my husband, like, if you want out, just let me
Right.
like, we can go. You don't have to take me on a boat trip. Like, I'm good. Because it was like Peterson. Oh no, Peterson was way before then. But there was someone even here locally. Well, not local, but like Camp Lejeune or something. I don't know. But it was a
Okay.
pregnant woman and
Right near
stuff. And
Jacksonville.
so
Okay.
yeah, right near Jacksonville. And so yeah. Needless to
Yeah.
say, I might have
So
skipped
I will
Denim
give
Day,
you,
but
I
that's
will at least
exciting.
say it was in
No.
Italy. So at least it didn't, it wasn't here in the US.
Mm,
So maybe
okay.
that was why too. But it was in 2008 that they finally said that logic didn't make any sense and no longer could they use that logic in the courtroom. I guess good strides. You wouldn't think that, oh, that can be a logical explanation in any courtroom, but hey,
Yeah.
we take it when we can.
No kid. I mean, when it's not a very diverse group of people who are making the laws, they're not going to make laws with women's thoughts in mind. I mean, that's why I think it's so important that we vote for every election because I mean, that's how you pick the judges and the district attorneys and all the different
Absolutely.
politicians who really make those choices on a local level.
Hmm.
And yeah, so, which, I mean, granted, that was in Italy, but nonetheless, it doesn't mean it couldn't
Still, I was
happen
going to
here.
say, yeah, absolutely.
And so, the organization is ourwave.org.
Okay.
and she would permit me, I would like to introduce her to the founders. Okay. So
Absolutely. Thank
yeah,
you.
that's yes. Yeah,
Absolutely.
but he had a comment also saying, Jean said, very impressive. Starting and operating a nonprofit is very demanding. Good that she is following her instincts to help.
Oh, thank
Yeah, he
you.
said
So
it's,
kind.
yeah. So, yeah, let's go back to that lighter topic.
Yes. I was
So,
gonna say we got right back to
like,
where we were, but hey, that's all right.
hey, that's why
Important
it's live.
things that
Because
needed to be covered.
yeah, I come up with these different questions with the idea just in case we just don't automatically flow about different things. But I feel like a lot of times with lives, that's one of the joys of it is that if you go a
Yeah,
certain direction, I'll just follow you that way. And because maybe it's more
exactly.
interesting than what I wrote down. Even though I was a little curious about the walk a mile Wednesday, does that mean you really walk a mile or is it something?
So traditionally, yes, the
Okay.
idea is everybody walks a mile. So there's normally a big event that's held, and so different
Okay.
sexual trauma centers will have them across the state, and across the nation. And normally everybody comes together. They have on their heels, and we walk together. We walk a mile around the
Oh.
city, and so that's the goal. But of course, since we were going virtually this year, it was really just the task for everybody to share the message, show their support, and do it the best way they could. So we did have some people that walked a mile.
Mhm.
So they just kind of walked around the neighborhood. We had other people that kind of incorporated their mile into their everyday activities. So whether that was working out, mowing the lawn, but it was just a beautiful sight to see our men support survivors across the nation. And I just hope to continue to promote that message that even though it may seem as if it's a women's issue. It's not. It happens to women, it happens to men, it happens to children, and we're going to have to come together, men and women, to find a solution. So, a fun kind of twist to bring awareness, but a beautiful symbol to say, we understand, we support, and we're walking a mile in your shoes.
Yeah, because they wear heels sometimes
Hmm.
during this as
Yep,
well.
no more high
Yeah.
heels. Yep.
What I wouldn't do to see my husband in a pair of heels, he can barely handle, his own shoes because he works on his feet all day, so
Okay,
I don't
that's
think he
fair.
can
I was gonna
handle
say,
it.
my brother, we got at least to the standing and then the sit down. We
Yeah.
didn't get to the walk part. Part of that was due to the shoe size, and the other part was
Mm.
due to the heel height. So I'll give him a,
Wait, how
a
high
little
did
bit
you
of
give
credit.
him for his first try?
I know. I just tried to pick the biggest pair of shoes I had, and that was what we went with. They were at least a wedge.
Okay.
So we tried. See, I thought that was considerate.
Very
I gave a
thoughtful,
wedge.
very
And it
thoughtful.
had a little platform just so it wasn't as high. I
Right.
tried. I tried.
I was like when you said that, I was visualizing pageant shoes, which are at least 4
No, I would
inches, and
not
I
do
was
him like
like
that. No, 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 no,
and
no.
they're like stilettos. So wait, I want to make sure before we get onto the fun topic, how can we support your different ventures that you're involved in? How can we, whether it's well, I guess the week has already passed, but is there anything else we can do to kind of help support your
Absolutely.
efforts? Like
Yeah.
what
Thank
do
you
you
for
need?
asking.
Oh no, that's
So
what
I
I'm here
have
for.
Yeah. So I have my social media platform, of course. On Instagram, I'm at no is not enough. And so I'll be continuing to update that page, really updating everybody on the college tour I was able to take as Miss North Carolina. So that platform is there. Additionally, I have my website, www.noisnotenough.net. And if you go visit that website, it not only provides resources, it gives you information on how to donate if you would like to contribute to the cause. And I'll be continuing to expand that website and those resources. So that site will give you everything, ways to contact me, ways to donate to the organization. All of those donations are tax deductible and will continue to go towards supporting sexual assault survivors and victims and providing resources for them.
Sorry, I was trying to look up your website while you were saying that so I could link it right in.
Yes. Okay,
But you
it's
okay, right?
www.noisnotenough.net.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, the first time I did it, oh, no H. That's why I'm like, wait, why is it not working? Oh, never mind. Now it's going to Facebook.
I was gonna say, I
Mm,
don't know if I can. Oh
no, it's fine. I got it.
no.
I,
Okay.
I just missed a letter and somehow hit the mouse where it hit on my Facebook instead of going back, but I'm copying and
Same
pasting it so I can put it
technology.
in.
I get it.
Like my day job is acting and modeling. So I'm like, I didn't have to learn all this tech stuff in school. I was a sociology major and I went to
Okay.
esthetician school, spa stuff. But like, I'm like, I never had to work behind a computer only for play. Like I played a tech savvy person. So
Listen, that was
luckily
me at the
this is
beginning
easy.
of the year. I was like, okay, I understand. They're like, okay, here are your social media platforms, go. And I was like, I'm letting you guys know now. Like, my mom did not let me have social media until like I
Oh,
was maybe a junior. The first social media platform I had was Facebook. The
okay.
only reason I had it was because I was Miss North Carolina's outstanding teen, and my board said you have to be able to communicate with people somehow.
Oh, wow.
And then
Okay.
I got Twitter maybe my senior year of high school, and I didn't get Instagram until freshman year of college after calling my mom back home from Columbia and saying, "Hey, mom, is it okay if I create an Instagram account?"
Okay, wait, I wanna learn
So,
more about your mom because she seems to
right?
like, even from a distance, you're asking for permission. Please
Yeah.
teach all mothers right now how your mom did that. That's what we
Listen,
all that's the $1,000,000 answer right there.
if I could call her, I will try and figure it out for sure. I need to be asking the same things because yes, I called from Columbia to ask to get my Instagram. And so I said from the beginning, I'm not a social media buff. That's just not who I am. I'm
Mhm.
more of in the moment, present in the moment kind of person. So I will learn as I go. So it's still a
Wow.
learning process.
I'm just in awe because normally I feel like the younger anytime there's a younger person around me, immediately I give them my phone and, like, make it better. What am I doing wrong? What
Yeah, people do
what
that
apps
to
do I
me
need to get
too
rid
until
of?
I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I'm not much more help. You've got to take it back. I'm so
Oh, wow,
sorry.
how
I'm just not the person.
refreshing. No, because I remember even when, we were communicating about you being on the show, you were like, "Call me," and I was like, "I'm sure she doesn't mean, like, for real, to set
Yeah,
everything
no.
up," but now I get it, I should've yeah, wow, I love that. And I wanted to also that my Nicole made a point of saying your brother was an awesome sport because 'cause I'm assuming
Oh,
he's younger as well, is that right?
he's older. He's
Oh,
older
okay.
than I am. So I have four older brothers. I am the
That's why you said
youngest. I'm the
4,
baby
okay.
girl.
Aw, and
But
then
yes, he was an awesome sport.
and another one, I love your relationship between you and your mom. Congratulations on your accomplishments, discipline, and need more ladies like you.
Oh, thank you.
Agreed.
Thank you. I will share the compliment with my mom as well. And
Yeah,
if I
so
can
what does your
figure out the
mom
trick
do?
and write it down,
Yeah, you make it a book. I'll buy it. I
right?
might actually read it even. Ugh, I'm so bad. I keep saying that I've been reading these books. I haven't read a single one. I really haven't.
Me
Oh my
neither. I'm a
gosh.
math girl. I tell people all the time, like, I like numbers. I have always been that person. There
Mhm.
aren't a lot of books that I just pick up and I am stuck. My mom, she will read and completely
Yeah.
mute me out, and I just haven't found that yet. So
So, like,
I get
back in the day,
it.
my aunt gave me a bunch of books by I think his name is TDJ no, I don't remember his name. I'll post it later. But he did these
Okay.
very, like, down low brother books, and they were just
Okay.
like, "Oh, what?" Like, you were just, like, couldn't wait to turn the next page, and I never really got into soap operas that much or anything, so this was just like, I couldn't stop, and then I started reading Olivia Goldsmith books who, did First Wives Club, so it was more of
Okay.
that, like, women and men relationship stuff, but they were doing all these pranks on their husbands and stuff, and I love pranks. Granted, they were kind of violent pranks,
Oh
like to get
gosh.
back at them for doing bad things to their wives type of stuff.
Okay.
And so, anyway, as a grown up, I was like, huh, all these great authors now. I'm going to buy these books for myself because everybody's talking about them. And they've just been collecting dust next to my bed. And yeah, I'm very embarrassed. Well, no, I'm not. I haven't read Becoming. It's still sitting beside my bed. I cannot tell you how excited
That's
I am that
okay.
it's becoming a documentary. So now I don't need to read it.
Oh my gosh, that's so good to know. Thank you for letting me know. So I
Thanks.
will read
Thanks, Obama.
it either.
Like, who knew?
I love
With my
it.
mom, I bought her the audiobooks of it, and I brought
Uh-huh.
myself the actual print because I like books. I like the paper of it all and everything. So she was like, "Well, maybe try the audiobook," because she loved it, and yeah, it's collecting dust too. It's just staring at me, judging me.
I know the audiobooks, that was one thing that somebody tried to convince me to get into was audiobooks. So they're like,
Yeah.
Alex, you're in the car driving all the time from appearance to appearance. Like it would be so easy to just listen to the
Mhm.
audiobook. But I'm like, but also like it's so easy to just zone out.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine myself actually focusing in and listening to a whole story on audiobook. So I'm gonna just stick to my
That'd be
numbers,
interesting. Yeah.
stick
Oh,
to
that's right.
movies, stick to documentaries, and hey,
So speaking of all of that, what are you binging right now during social distancing? No, not social, physical distancing. I need to
physical
start saying it
distancing.
too. Yeah, because I'm like, I am so
So
social. So I don't have to distance myself socially at all. So
fair. So I just finished Little Fires Everywhere.
yeah.
I binged
Such
that
a
in like
good
2 days.
movie. Oh my
I was gonna
gosh. I mean,
say
TV
it's great.
show.
So yeah, I was gonna say, and it's only 8 episodes, so it's a quick binge. It was really good.
So
So I
good.
watched that. My mom just started Grey's Anatomy from the beginning. If you know me, like I'm a huge Shonda Rhimes fan, whether it's Grey's, Scandal, Private
Well, next
Practice, like
month I'll
any of
have a
those, you
Grey's
go.
Anatomy guest on. I'm excited about. I won't spoil it, but yeah, next. Because yeah, I need to watch
Oh
the
my
show
goodness,
again, so
I'm
I know
so
exactly.
excited.
Yeah, me
Well, if
too.
you need any help, when I tell you I've watched season one to season whatever we're on now, which I think is like 20 or maybe,
Oh
who knows,
wow.
whatever season one, I've probably watched beginning to end 4 times through.
Well,
Like my
funny
mom is
enough,
watching them now and she'll say something or I'll hear something and I
yeah.
know exactly what episode
So
she's
do you
on.
remember the scene? I don't remember who the character was because a lot of times I watch them just randomly and then I'm like sobbing like somebody killed my dog. So I'm like, okay, can't do this because my eyes
That's
swell
me.
when I
And
cry.
my friends will be like, Alex, please remember it's a TV
It
show.
is, but it
Alex,
hits the
please remember it's a TV
heartstrings.
show. It hits,
I mean, I
yeah.
work on movie sets and I know they're all faking it, but I'm still like, but the baby and the mommy and the it doesn't matter. I'm crying. So there I don't we're going right back to rape again, but there was a scene where it was such a powerful scene because there was a rape victim who was coming through the hallway and they lined
Yes,
it
and they
all with
line the
women.
hallways.
My girlfriend Rhonda was one of the actresses that worked on that and she's watching right now. So shout out
Well,
Rhonda.
hi.
She's
Hi, Miss Rhonda. I'm a
she's
huge
a
fan. Huge
stand-in
fan.
for Audrey McDowell's character. No,
And
and
I
we
love
also did Private
Audrey.
Practice. Like
Yes.
she's amazing. She does a lot of
Okay, well,
acting.
I see where she
She's from
says
North
she should
Carolina.
come visit us.
Yeah.
Miss Rhonda, like literally
She's
whenever
from
I
Raleigh,
am
but she lives
there.
she lives all over the place, but currently in Georgia. But yeah. That's
Like when I say 4 times through, whether that is Grey's Private Practice, I
okay,
tell
yeah.
everybody go watch. So,
And so you're also watching Scandal as well as
oh yes,
How to Get Away with Murder. Those are
yes.
my favorite
When
ones.
I like, and then we have Station 19
I
now,
haven't watched
and so the
that.
station,
What's
oh,
Station
Station
19?
19 is wonderful. So Station 19 is like the addition. So it's the fire station that's in the same city
Ah,
as the hospital in Grey's Anatomy, and Ben
oh,
Warren, Miranda Bailey's husband, is on that
okay.
show now. One of the doctors is now a firefighter. So there's crossovers between characters.
Wait,
It's
a
a lot. I
doctor
know.
became a firefighter?
Yep.
I definitely missed that episode.
Anesthesiologist. He went from being an anesthesiologist, a surgeon, to then
See,
now being a firefighter.
huh?
So
What a leap!
Ben Warren's awesome.
Yeah, like, and so how about for because you said you were been binging movies, TV shows. What was the other thing?
Mhm.
Was it music? You were listening to? Oh well, yeah, you're a dancer. So
Ooh, I was gonna
what's your
say
favorite?
I am a dancer.
Yeah, because you do.
Yeah.
I heard that your tap is what you did for your competition, but
Yes.
you do all kinds of
Yes.
dance, right? So share a
Yep.
little bit about that. Help us all get into shape. What are you listening to or moving around to?
Yes, so I've been dancing since I was 2 years old. Two and a half and potty trained is what we all say. My mom has a dance studio in Charlotte, North Carolina, so it's in the
Oh,
blood. I had no choice.
wait, what's your
It was,
mom's dance studio? I'll put it in the comments because
oh my
maybe
gosh,
people who are in
yes,
Charlotte are
absolutely.
like, "Ah, I could get trained
Charlotte
by
and
Miss
surrounding
North
areas if you
Carolina."
need a studio. Yeah. BB Dance Productions. So that is her studio. Next year will be her 30th anniversary. So she'll be in business
Wow.
for 30 years next year. So she's had that long. Oh, I love Miss Debbie. Yes, Miss Rhonda.
Oh,
I
you can see the
love
comments. Okay.
her. Yes, I can.
I'm like, wait, I had scrolled up too far, so I didn't notice there was like all these new comments. I'm like, oh crap, now I got to figure out where we had left off. So yeah. Oh, so Rhonda says, yay, thanks watching Grey's Anatomy. She should come visit us.
Yes, Jason
So
George.
wait, when you say she, you mean me too, right? Just kidding. Or Scott. The nurses. I'll get to it later. The nurses and docs lined up. It was so powerful, says Nicole Gatewood. Rhonda says, hi. We miss you, Alex. Love you, Addison Benson. That's Chrissy Benson. And then Rhonda Marie's laughing at us. LOL, Jason George. Debbie Allen would love her, is what she's saying. And she's worked with Debbie Allen. So this could be that moment.
I actually have her
Am
book
I making a
sitting
flash?
right here on my desk. Like you think I'm kidding? It was one of my favorite
You haven't read though.
books, as we talk about reading. No, I have. It's the only book I read to the kids.
Oh, neat!
It's like literally right here, Dancing in the Wings.
I have that book. I read it to my daughter. I read her and all the Mindy. Like I read to my daughter all the time. That's why I don't read to myself anymore because they're short, they're cute, the pictures are beautiful now.
They're wonderful. Yeah.
And there's another one I think Debbie Allen did. It was like the boys of the something where these different boys come out of the house and they're dancing and they go somewhere and go dancing and then come back. Or is that with the Wings?
Oh, I love that.
It's really cute.
This
another
one
Debbie
is about
Allen
the girl.
book.
She's really tall. She's tall, skinny, and has big feet. Literally my life.
Wait, how big are your feet if you want it? You don't have to share. I know your brother was wearing them. Oh, yeah, we're the same size.
No, I'm only a 9.5. I was going to say.
Okay, we're the same size.
Not awful. Growing up, though, it was a big deal. It was like, oh my gosh, nobody wears the same size I do. Here we are.
Yeah, it was pretty awkward when I outgrew my mom because she still would buy me shoes that were her size, thinking it was my size for Christmas. So, yeah, I feel your pain. Yeah, big girl club or big feet club. So, all right.
Right. Oh my gosh, but we got so distracted. Music.
Totally.
Did you hear? I was going to say, we got so distracted from music that we drifted to Shonda, which is a fabulous drift. Love her. But I don't know. I'm definitely like an old school kind of gal. I really like old school music, so you'll probably hear me listening to like 90s more than you hear me.
Okay, I was like, wait, music. What's old school for you? Because for me, it's the 70s and 80s.
Okay, no, so 90s. I was
when music was 90s. Music.
I was going to say yes, when music was music, exactly.
So who are some of your favorites?
Oh gosh, let's think.
Do you want
current favorites or oldies?
All of the you're the dancer. What do you like to dance to?
Okay, so oldies, like I'm oldies as in like I like Poison, Belle Biv DeVoe. Like I'm that kind of old school gal.
Yeah.
But new school, I still have my artists. Kalani Her. I'm like the smooth. I listened to Columbo from Janae Aiko for like weeks straight. Her new album.
I honestly only know one song from her. Probably I probably heard a lot of the songs but didn't know it was her. But she was I guess it was Essence Women's event and she sang a song with her daughter that of course it was adorable, super cute.
Yes, it was beautiful. And I remember that one. Yes, it was the Mother's Day event. And they sang it together. I think they sang it together. I remember this performance.
Yeah. See?
Yes.
Yeah. I have my moments. Wait. Stop the press. Rhonda Marie just said the most exciting thing. Debbie hired me for my first professional dance gig in her movie Stomping at the Savoy.
Oh my goodness, Miss Rhonda, I'm going to go follow you right now.
I didn't know that. I didn't even know that.
Would like to, I don't know if we can have a conversation, chat.
She's amazing.
Connect. Like
I met Rhonda.
To just hear your experience.
I think the first time we met was actually in an audition room. And then maybe a year or so later, we ended up working on a couple of jobs together. And you probably weren't even born yet, but whatever. We did this film together called Shake, Rattle, and Roll that was actually filmed in Charlotte. And it was about like a 50s. I would almost say like her character was almost like the Dream Girls before the Dream Girls. It was 3 women that, I'm totally blanking on. I think it was Shantae. I don't remember her name. Oh my gosh, I feel bad that I can't remember her name. I'll post the pictures later because they were beautiful. And I was working as a stand-in on it. And I was like wearing, I don't know, well, I'll clear it up for people who don't know what stand-in. Stand-in is you're kind of like the body double in a way where you go through all the let me try talking with my tongue. you go through all the movements that the actor does so they can like check camera angles and lighting, like they practice with you, the B team, and when the A team comes out, which is the actual actors, they'll redo it. And a lot of times you have to watch the rehearsals and see how they move, when they say what, so you can land in the same position. So I was doing that for, I don't even remember the actress's name, to be honest with you, but it was a lot of fun. And yeah, Rhonda is amazing. She's done a lot of stuff, like a lot. Shantae Moore. I had it right. Almost. I
You
just
were
forgot the
right.
last name, but she's a 90s singer, Shantae Moore. That's why I was like, Shantae, help me out, Alexandra. So, speaking of all the wonderful things that you enjoy, what has been that you've noticed since being in social distancing that has been something you've noticed about yourself since being kind of stuck home, especially since you had such, I'm sure, a huge busy schedule with being Miss America, Miss North Carolina, excuse me.
Mhm.
What really changed for you, and what have you learned about yourself during this time?
Yeah, everything changed. um, I went from having a full schedule and appearances. When I say I looked at my calendar and did not have a free Thursday through Sunday until
Mm.
maybe the end of May, that's what my schedule looked like. I was slammed. And then
So
slowly,
how does that
probably in
work with
about
school? Were you still in school or?
so my job for the year is Miss North Carolina. So
Okay.
if I was in school, I would have taken off for the year. But I graduated in 2018. So luckily,
Okay.
I wasn't in school. Didn't have to take that gap year. But this is my full time job. So I have an apartment in Clayton that they would house me in, and I traveled across the state and was at the coast and the mountains, back at the coast.
Oh, how fun.
Honestly, just living it up, and honestly, in the blink of an eye, that all changed. And as we've kind of already talked about, I'm not the biggest social media fan, but I've had to learn how to utilize a platform that I don't really care that much for, and turn it
Wait,
into
tell me how you
my
really feel.
reality.
Yeah.
Like, here we are. Everything I'm doing now is through social media, and
Okay.
really being able to navigate that. I guess of learning anything, honestly, has brought a lot of things to light. And just, I am, the things I love most are people, and being able to be out in the community and interacting with people. And, I'm one that feels like I can get great energy from other people. It makes my day when I can either put a smile on somebody else's face or somebody can do the same thing to me. And so trying to embrace that virtually has been a task, but if anything, it's just continued to show me the village of supporters I have
Mm.
behind me, whether that's in family, whether that's through this organization. My Miss America sisters have been great help in us just keeping each other sane. Our local title holders are going through the same struggle as well. So, all of us just relying on this sisterhood to get through it and finding the best ways to adjust.
See that opens the door for my next question. If you had to choose three title holders, whether they're local, national, or whoever, just so we know who they are, to be quarantined with, who would you pick?
Oh my
Choose
gosh, that's
wisely.
so hard.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, well, the first, without like any hesitation, the first I would have to say would be Miss Texas, Chandler Foreman. And the reason I say that is because Chandler and I FaceTime every day already. And when I say every day, I
Oh,
mean like, like we'll wake up. I
yeah.
wake up first, and normally I'll wake up about like 8:30, so I know it's still 7:30 her time. So I give it an hour, or I wait for
Oh,
her to text me first.
oh my
We
gosh, I
text each
love
other,
that.
we know we're up, and then the FaceTime starts. And until somebody has something to do, we're on the phone. So
Oh, that's so
Chandler would have to
sweet.
be, yeah,
Now, did you
Chandler would
guys
have
meet
to be
at
my first
Miss
person.
America, or did you already have
We
a
did.
relationship before?
Nope. So we met through Miss America. We met, the first thing we had, with all of the title holders together was Miss America's Outstanding Teen.
Okay.
And so at Miss America's Outstanding Teen, there were six of us that got super, super close from the beginning. It was myself, Miss Texas, Miss Tennessee, Miss Arkansas, Miss California, and Miss Missouri. And so the six of us kind of hit it off from the very beginning and really kept that relationship, up until now. We still do lives together,
Oh,
especially
that's
now
so
that we're
sweet.
physical distancing.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool to have that relationship. But I guess Chandler would be my first because, again, she already might as well be sitting in the house with me.
Right.
Um, Two more. Oh my goodness. So
You
I
can
know
pick
you're
someone
gonna have
famous
her.
instead if
I
it's
was gonna
too
say, I know you're
difficult.
gonna
Yeah.
have her as a guest.
Oh,
Chesley, I would probably go ahead and have. I would love Chesley to be there. One, she's a great friend. She's a great spirit. But I feel like she also could keep me motivated physically. She's been doing the
oh my
600
gosh.
ab challenge, and I have
Oh.
never seen so many people do 600 abs in a day. And I'm still trying to get to my 600 abs in a day,
Mm,
but maybe if she was here with me,
yeah.
she would help me
Well, like
stay
her arms
accountable
and
physically.
they're like she gives Angela Bassett a run for her because I remember in Miss
No,
USA, I was like,
like
oh yeah, that's my
ripped.
body goals right there.
And her like
Her
body
whole
goals
body.
and
Well, she was a
always
D1
has
athlete.
been
Let's
like
make sure we bring that up.
yeah, she's fabulous and a D1 athlete
Amazing.
at the University of South Carolina and
Oh, the same
honors college
school.
gal. So same school, same
Ah.
honors college and everything. So yeah, Chesley's a
Oh wow,
gem.
I didn't even
She
make
just
that
celebrated a
connection.
birthday yesterday. So
Right. Well, look, I have my birthday hat out for me to wear
I love
tomorrow.
it.
Hopefully she doesn't see this and then the surprise is kind of ruined. But I was gonna also do like some funny intro thing with it too. I don't know. I haven't
Okay,
done
cool.
it
Oh,
yet,
I'm
but
sure either way she will be
I
overjoyed.
was like, I get
Um,
to do something goofy score.
and then my last person would just have to be, I'm trying to think. I need one more person, anybody that's good at cooking. That's something
Oh.
that I've tried to venture into now, that I've had time. I like
Mhm.
to cook, I just never really had the time to.
Okay.
So I'm exploring with new recipes, trying to
Mm.
figure out, how to still make things, make healthy things. We got an air fryer now. So
That is a life
anybody that could
changer
help.
because
It's a
I can't
life
fry
changer.
food like, I always get injured, so I was like, "I'm done. I'm not ever frying food ever again." But the air fryer, my family loves me again.
It's beautiful.
It's
It's a beautiful investment.
it
Yeah.
is.
So anybody that could help me on that side of things, I would go ahead and bring them on with me.
Great choices. I cannot say I don't blame you on any of those. I don't know the first one, so I can't say that I would choose her too, but the last 2,
Oh, she's
absolutely.
a gem.
Right there
I'm
with you.
sure you would. I'm sure you would love her.
But speaking of, like, a little bit, because we don't get to talk to many, well, I don't anyway, get to talk to many pageant, winners and find out what was it like competing on the state level as well as on a national level? Like, how did you prepare for it? Just yeah, let's start with local first and then, like, the
Okay.
differences in preparation. Because
Yeah. So for my local title, I had the title of Miss Jacksonville, in the state of North Carolina, and that was one of
wait,
those.
gonna back up. You're
I
from
know.
Denver,
Yeah.
Jacksonville? Why Jacksonville?
Yeah, okay. So I'll explain.
No, look, I did Miss Charlotte and
So
I live up here, so
very
yeah.
last minute, I decided that I was going to compete for the title of Miss North Carolina,
Okay.
and the last competition they have is called a sweeps competition, and they gave out 8 titles for cities that didn't have representatives already, randomly to the 8 winners of the competition. And so my title that was designated to me was Miss Jacksonville. So I'm this girl from Charlotte, North Carolina, then moved to Denver, North Carolina, and now I'm Miss Jacksonville. I tell people all the time, I just continue to represent cities that people don't think are in the state of North
Okay.
Carolina. Denver, everybody thinks I'm in Colorado, and then Jacksonville, everybody thought I was in Florida. But to
I
be
always think of
honest,
Jacksonville as the Air Force. They do the flights. Oh, no, that's Cherry Point.
For
Yeah,
Jacksonville, North Carolina, they're home of the
yeah.
Marines. So yeah,
Marines, okay.
Jacksonville, North Carolina is home of the Marines, and so I accredit much of my preparation for Miss North Carolina to the fact that I had the title of Miss Jacksonville. The city's 5 minutes away from my home. But I was one of those people that didn't want to represent a city and not have visited and really interacted with the people. So I forced myself to travel there. I was traveling back and forth like 2 to 3 times a
Oh,
week, going
wow.
to
How
events
far of
and
a drive is
appearances.
that? 'Cause
It's about 4.5 to 5 hours. Yeah,
that's yeah,
it's
I
a
was gonna
little
say the
hike.
complete opposite
And
from
that's
Charlotte
one
to there.
way. Yeah, so it was definitely a little hike, but it really introduced me to the role of Miss North Carolina before even having it. The travel and the commuting and being on the road and planning, and really introducing myself into a space where people don't really know who I am. Again, they're home of the Marines. They're a huge community. They're service oriented, but I'm this girl from Charlotte coming in trying to represent their city. And they just welcomed me with open arms.
Oh,
And
that's
so having
awesome.
that local title, like I said, was a joy. Regardless of what happened Miss North Carolina week, I knew I was able to walk away with a beautiful experience just from having that local title. When
Mm,
I got to Miss North Carolina week, honestly, I tell people all the time my biggest piece of advice is not to prep necessarily for the week, but prep for the job.
okay.
Don't sit here and prep
Oh,
for,
that's great.
okay, this is the panel, this is my interview panel, so I need to prep just to talk to these 7 people. I know I have to do this talent once for 90, let me just prep this. I know, I was one that wanted to feel as if regardless of if I walked away from with the title or not, I knew that I could continue to do the role, whether I was serving as Alexandra Badgett or I was serving as Miss North Carolina. And so having that confidence walking into the week, I think really changed my perspective.
Mhm.
But I also had this really great relationship with the Lord just throughout my journey. I'm a very faith based individual. And there were several times just along my way, I felt him tap me on the shoulder and just reassure me that he was right there by my side. So North Carolina week was fun. The sisterhood, we always say it. People think it's a joke, but the sisterhood is real.
It's a true
Like
story. I
it is
experienced it myself,
real.
and it was a beautiful experience. That's why I think every woman, girl should at least try it once, because from the
Absolutely.
outside in,
Yeah.
it looks like it's just a beauty pageant, or that I don't know, it looks very simplistic until you've actually done it and seen, "Oh, no, they
Yeah.
make it look easy." It's not easy at
And it's
all.
and it's something so empowering about being in an
Mhm.
organization filled with women that are as motivated and dedicated to doing the same thing that you are, and also being with a group of
Cool.
women that doesn't necessarily look at you and say, oh, you're my competitor, I'm going to bring you down. Whereas, okay, you're another woman, trying to make a difference in this world, how can I help you and empower you and bring you up? And that was something that I not only saw at the state level with other local title holders, but at the national level as well. I credit much of my Miss America experience to the girls that I was with, and my sisters. We just had a unbreakable bond that really allowed me to treasure and cherish every moment we could share together. Whether something was being thrown at us on our left or on our right, if we were trying to catch it together, we were going to make it. And I will forever be grateful for those relationships and connections. And then, of course, the scholarship money. Like I'm
Yeah,
23 and debt free. Hello, like
wait,
what?
even better, but $20,000 you raised, or
And that was just on the state level. So
okay.
I won $20,000 just for winning Miss North Carolina. But by
Oh,
the time
okay.
you took into account my preliminary wins throughout the week, I got about $23,000 from the Miss North Carolina organization. And after Miss America week, I walked away with $14,000 in scholarship from that week competing, and making to the top 15 and some of the scholarships throughout the week. It was just beautiful coming back home and saying, okay, not only are my debts paid off, but I can now use this money to continue my education or continue whatever I want to do
Oh,
afterwards.
that's awesome. Now, what since you've won and your reign is getting ready to come to an end in June, what's next for
Actually, I
you?
got a few more months. I got a
Oh,
couple more months.
oh,
Yeah.
hello,
With everything
extension?
going on, I know we're extended. So finals night now is August 1st. So
Okay.
I will at least have the title till August 1st. They will be taking my job sooner than later.
Oh, you sure you don't want
I
me to
know.
go another term? I mean, I guess we got a long break on that sense too, but everybody did in that sense as well. But so, what do you want to
Right.
do next? What is your goal for yourself?
Yes. So my ultimate goal is to open my own consulting business where I work as a data analyst for nonprofit companies. I really want to be able to take these nonprofits and make them profitable, where they're
Mm,
really creating change and finding the best way to create change in the environments and communities that they're in. That's the ultimate goal. Real plan, as in after they take the crown off my head in August, what's next? I have a job offer right now with a financial services
oh,
company in Houston,
congratulations!
Texas, working
You're
with their,
leaving
thank
them?
you.
Oh,
I know. It's working with their actuarial department, and it's an opportunity I truly can't pass up.
I
And I've
can't even
always
blame
been
you. And
trying to
plus, you'll
get
be
down to
closer to your
Texas.
friend.
I'm like, and I'll be right there with Chandler, which is so cool. She's originally from Houston and school in Dallas, so she'll either be right there 3 hours away, and have some family friends there as well. So it's a wonderful opportunity, and I can stay
Mhm.
there and get some professional development skills and really grow then start my own business where I can work on my own as a consultant. So those are long-term, short-term plans. But again, I'm a firm believer in the saying, "We plan, God laughs." So I can sit here and tell you all of this stuff now, and 2 years
Right.
later, we have this talk, and I'm somewhere completely different.
And, like, that
Yeah.
sometimes speaking of Shonda Rhimes, you just gotta have a year of yes, right? So if
Yep.
an
You have
opportunity
to have a
takes
year
you
of
in a different
yes.
direction, might as well try it out and see what
Yeah,
happens.
and
So,
that was a wonderful TED Talk. I loved that one. And when we
okay, I
had our
did do the
social
audiobook of
impact,
that. I
oh, you did
didn't
the audio.
finish it.
Okay.
I didn't
Oh,
finish,
oh.
but I
I was
started it,
gonna
and I
say,
was like, "I get
okay,
the
that's good.
concept. I don't have to
Yeah,
keep listening."
and it was great when we had our social impact initiatives. We had a
Yeah.
pitch that we had to do at Miss America, 90
Hmm.
seconds long. It was supposed to be like a TED Talk, and that TED Talk by Shonda was one of the ones that I watched to get kind of like my inspiration and idea of what a TED Talk should look like.
I'll have to check that out because that means there's basically I don't know if you know what this is, but there's a Cliff Notes version, basically.
Yes.
You're like
Oh no, listen,
I'm
I
like,
know
"I don't know if that's
exactly what
still
Cliff Notes
around."
is. Cliff Notes, Spark Notes,
Okay.
that was
Yeah.
saving grace sometimes.
Oh, that helped me a lot in school because 'cause I'm dyslexic and I wasn't,
Okay.
diagnosed until college. So,
Mm,
I didn't know why I hated reading books, and it just seemed like it took me forever, and when the teacher would have
mm,
me read out loud, I would skip lines sometimes or different things, and
okay.
I didn't yeah, so now that I know, I'm like, "Oh, well, I can
Now
figure
you
it
can,
out,"
yep.
but it's funny how much reading can be fun when you know why you don't like it. It's not your fault, but there's ways
Right.
around it now. So, wow, that's really exciting about your new job. So, congratulations on that already. And
Thank
what
you.
else? Trying to think about quarantine questions. So, what do you think with all of this going on, what do you think might change with pageants moving forward as far as I was speaking to Brittany the cello yesterday, and she was talking about
Mhm.
that there's some that are doing virtuals as even as a way to do pageants. Have you heard anything yet of any changes they might make? I mean, you already mentioned that they're moving it to August, but have they kind of given you any preliminary possibilities?
So I know that we moved it to August, and our week's going to be a little bit shorter than it would have been in
Okay.
June. Whether that's for just the sake of facility, the sake of really reevaluating everybody's circumstances right now. Whether we're going to come out of this, some people stronger and having saved, some people maybe in a financial hole. Just really being able to accommodate all audiences and people that would want to come and support their loved ones. So the week's looking a little bit shorter in regards to phases of competition. That's still going to look. Um, the same. We still want the judges to be able to have a fair evaluation for the next representative. And we always say the most important part about this job is being able to be adaptable. And while sometimes that doesn't make all of our circumstances okay, and we do get to sit and understand that we're in a different place than other people may be,
Mhm.
finding ways to adjust. So, still having pageant week there. I have heard of some competitions that have gone virtual, whether those are preliminary competitions or festivals. Some pageants have gone virtual, and I commend them. I truly do for making it work. That's kind of how we are with the studio, with the dance studio right now.
All right, with your
All the
mom's
classes
dance
virtual.
studio.
So
Oh,
yeah,
speaking
finding
of
ways
that, I
to
wanted to make sure
adjust,
I
but
mentioned because I was like, "Don't forget to say this before you run out of time," but Rhonda also mentioned I don't know if you know this because every Saturday and Wednesday, Debbie Allen does an IG live dance class on her personal page. You should join
yes,
it.
and she had a tap class, a tap lesson. I think it was a couple weeks ago. I got really excited because you don't really see a lot of tap workshops
No, and she
anymore.
was doing
And so
something
while
today
I love
even. I guess
jazz and
to
everything,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
no, 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 you're fine. What were you
I was
saying?
like I was like, "Oh, yeah, and today I think today is, like, National Dance Day or something," so she was
It
on
is. It's
with
International Dance Day today. Yep, you're on
I be
it.
knowing stuff.
um,
I be doing my
you
research.
are
No,
on
I'm
it.
kidding.
Yes, I was so excited when I saw she was doing those classes. I have a group message with myself and five other friends who we've been dancing since we were 2.5 and potty trained together. So
Aw,
we've grown
fun.
up. Just growing and developing. But when we saw the classes, somebody put it in our group message and was like, "Okay, who's tuning in?" We're like,
Right.
"We're gonna try. Our bodies are gonna try to keep it moving." So
Those classes are killer. The sweat that comes off of you afterwards, she does not play around. She's not
she does
giving
not play
you
at
basic
all.
classes. It's
I love it
serious.
though.
It's
I
so much
absolutely
fun
love it, and I will 100% be taking advantage of that opportunity. And it's
every
so
time.
cool, and that's the beautiful part. And not only in this
Mhm.
situation, but in life, life is learning to find light in situations like this and really taking advantage of those opportunities, doing things that have always been on your bucket list, but you may not have had the opportunity to. And, being able to take a class from Miss Debbie Allen. Are you kidding? Like, of
Right?
course I'm getting on that live. Absolutely.
And even with all the different DJs going performing at night,
It's been
like, I'm a stay-at-home
fabulous.
mom for the most part. I'm living the mom life, and my husband doesn't really like to go out clubbing. Plus, we go to the clubs here, they're on their iPhones the whole time, so it's not that much
Fair.
fun. You're like, "I can go dancing every night in my
Yep.
pajamas," and it's
Yep.
like the
There have been
best
times I've
DJ in the
literally like
nation
said to mom,
or
"Hey,
country.
I'll be out in the garage. Like I'm playing some music. Like the DJ's on tonight. We're
Yeah,
having this battle, or this DJ's
yes.
going." So I
Oh.
get it completely.
It's so much fun. Oh, and I wanted to just in case there's other pageant girls who possibly are watching, what tips would you give them for getting ready for Miss North Carolina and Miss America for
Yeah.
that matter? What would be some of your quick tips?
Yeah.
I know you mentioned being prepared for the job, but is there like maybe
Yeah.
something more tangible? And even us, those of us who are webinars and doing all these different things where
Mhm.
now we have to command an audience through computer as opposed to in person. Any tips or tricks
Yeah.
you can share on that stand?
My biggest piece of advice always is to just stay authentic and true to who you are. I feel that so often, especially when you are on social media, you sit and you compare yourselves to other people. And even in the pageant industry, you look at other title holders, you look at what other local title holders are doing, what other state title holders are doing, and you try to kind of shape your year based on their achievements. And in
Mm.
reality, your superpower is what makes you different. The judges are going to pick you because they feel like you are going to be the best representative for the time that we have now. And for anybody out there that is using the platform of social media, it can be hard when you roll over and the first thing you see is what somebody else has going on, and your day may not be as bright and as cheery as somebody else's. And that's
And they're
okay.
just
Like
doing
it's
it for the
life, you
gram.
know?
Yeah.
Like it's life. It truly is.
Right.
So just remembering that, you have your own superpower, always remain true and authentic to who you are, and that's going to carry you so much further. And also just the importance of finding positivity in most situations. While it's okay to sit and have your moment, being able to find a positive and finding that light will carry you a long way. So I think those
Absolutely.
are probably my two biggest pieces of advice, but always remembering to stay true and authentic to who you are.
I got one last comment to say, and then I want to be
Okay.
mindful because it's 6:57. Jean also
Okay.
said he can help you with your nonprofit analysis piece. Want to
Oh
introduce you to
my gosh.
another person who had that concept too. So
Absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna
sure he's
send you
going to
a
be.
friend request as well, Mr. Eugene. So I sent one to Miss Rhonda, and now I'm sending one to
Oh,
you, Mr.
for
Eugene,
someone that's not
and we
very
can
tech
connect.
savvy, you're fast.
Hey, now what I can do is send a friend request. That is
Like she can
that is one
multitask.
thing I can do. I can multitask. Um,
Like, the girl has skills, a bachelor's of science in business administration. She's not playing around, and she's a numbers girl, so
yes.
well, I should say woman, I keep saying girl, but you're a
Oh
full-on
my gosh,
adult.
and I say it too. It's so funny you
Okay.
say that. I've had a mock interview before and I said numbers
Mm,
girl, and my correction was, "Do you want to say like lady or woman?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I didn't think about that, but okay." So I'm a numbers woman.
yeah, it's tough because I think for women, there's this whole society that promotes youth for women, and so we just always like, "Hey, girl," or, like, "That's my
Yeah,
girlfriend." Like,
it's very light.
there's not
I don't
yeah, like,
think of it doesn't have this negative connotation when I
no,
use it.
not
I
the
don't
same
think
that
of it in a
men
bad
do.
way. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
I
granted,
don't think
there's
of it that
sometimes
way.
when somebody calls me girl and they don't call anybody else girl, I'm like, "Wait, I'm a full-on grown up. Why am I being iced
Yeah.
out like I'm the only kid in the room?" But at the same time, like, I'm a Toys R Us kid for life. So, I get it. All right, well, is there anything that you would like to share before we close out? I wanna make sure you get to talk about all your platforms. I did put up your website, and
Yes.
once this is all done in, I'll put all your Instagram and Facebook and all of that as well. But is there
Perfect.
anything else
Well,
you wanna share?
I honestly just want to thank you so much for having
Um,
me on, for giving me this platform to share a little bit more about myself, and for great conversation. I am just happy that, we are just physically distancing. We're not social distancing. So any excuse to, be
well,
able to have these types of conversations and to connect and reach out to other audiences, I love to be a part of. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of your week.
oh my gosh, my pleasure. I mean, I'm so glad you won, so I had a reason
Oh,
to, like,
thank
bring you
you.
Because,
Too
I
cute.
don't do
Thank
losers.
you, thank you.
I'm totally kidding. As a loser herself, because I didn't win a
Stop it.
title. I'm not really a
Stop
loser,
it.
but I did. I'll talk about it on Friday. Gotta wait for Friday. All right. Well,
Okay.
thank you
I'll be
again so
waiting.
much for being on. I appreciate you. You were
Thank
so
you.
much fun, so educational. It's funny how we went so dark to light and a little bit all over in between. Trying to think, is there anything I
Yep.
missed on my questions? Absolutely not. So we hit it all. So
Perfect.
I'm impressed. We did it all.
Right?
And we
That's how
talked
we
about
do it.
Debbie
You
and
know,
Grey's Anatomy.
hey.
Well, again, thanks again. I'm trying to make sure I
Oh,
didn't miss
well, thank
anything.
you.
No,
And I was
everything's
just
good.
saying thank you to those who watched. Again, Miss Rhonda and Mr. Eugene. I'll be reaching out. Love to
Oh, wait, I
connect.
did miss one.
And
Bert
what?
Richardson, awesome. He said you're awesome. Oh, see, it's covering everything. Awesome job and awesome interview. He is the camera
Oh,
person for a lot of like football. Like he's won an Emmy Award, so he knows
oh,
what he's talking about.
wonderful. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, thank
I've
you,
been
and thank you
begging
for
him to be on my
watching.
show too, so I'm glad he's watching. Maybe he's gonna
Listen,
finally
right? Exactly. Hopefully
slide
we
into
can
my
get him on there.
DMs and
Listen,
say I'll
I
be on your
have
show.
4 older brothers who all play football, so
Oh,
and I went to USC SEC school, so
yeah.
I love it. So if he's on there, I'm watching. So
Oh,
I was about
yeah.
to say I'm excited for your 8 o'clock. My hairstylist is a huge fan of Miss Kim.
Oh,
Like when she
she's
heard, she was
amazing.
like, oh, "Stop it! Are you
Well, I
kidding?"
worked with her on Something New. I don't know if you ever saw that with Sanaa Lathan.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
so I was Sanaa Lathan's stand-in, and my dad was the movie producer for that, and so
wonderful.
I've been, like, asking Kim, and then finally I asked my dad for her number, and little did I know I still had it. I'm like, "Oh, she hasn't changed it." Because when my cousin
I love
first
that.
moved to LA, I reached out to her because she wasn't the Kim Kimble then, and I reached
Right.
out to her about barbers because he's an actor as well and can't just go to anyone because he had to need it for a part and stuff. So, yeah. That's
Gotcha.
my girl, I'm excited. So,
Same.
thank
Well,
you
I will
so
definitely
much.
be tuning in and watching and keep it up with you for the rest of the week. And thank you
Thank
again
you.
for having me and
Oh,
thank y'all
my
for watching.
pleasure. It was my pleasure. You have a great rest of your week as well. All right.
Thank you.
Ah, how much fun was she? Oh my gosh. Love, 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 love this week. I'm having so much fun. And don't forget, in an hour, I'll be back with Kim Kimball. She's doing a live right now. Actually, I keep getting notifications on her YouTube channel for her reality show, LA Hair. So it's got a lot of the same cast members from that. So I'm going to try to sneak over there, watch a little bit of that. So when she comes on at 8 o'clock, I know what kind of tea questions to ask. But I'm definitely asking about for all of us. What can we do at home to take care of our hair, whether you're natural, relaxed, anywhere in between? She's worked on Paula Abdul, Beyonce, I want to see Sanaa Lathan, which I already mentioned, Tyra Banks, Zendaya, model Olivia Brower. Like she's worked on everyone, every cover, every movie. Like she's done it all. So she's a great person to learn a lot about how can we fix our hair without our hairstylist because we miss them. But we want to be safe and healthy at the same time. All right. Well, I'll see you guys in an hour. Have a great, go get a dinner, go get a snack, and then come on back. Awkward. Bye.